What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, WBA, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five best pound for pound fighters in the world, and Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He's 32 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence finally responds to a Hall of Famer, advisor, trainer, OG in the sport of boxing, in Leon Muhammad, who was an advisor. He worked with legends like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Bob Arum, Leon Spinks, Michael Spinks. He's worked with some legends. He opened a boxing gym in Philadelphia, and he's most notably known for being with the Nation of Islam, right? That's one of the big things that Leon Muhammad is known for. Another big thing Leon Muhammad is known for is going at Errol Spence, okay? He calls Errol Spence everything under the sun, from a drunk to not being able to box. He just goes in on Errol Spence Jr., okay? He never holds back on, his thoughts on Errol Spence and what he thinks of Errol Spence and what he don't think of Errol Spence, and he's never a man that's short on words, okay? And for quite some time, he's been going in on Errol Spence Jr., okay? This is no secret. This is nothing new. He's been going in at Errol Spence. And Errol Spence has been taking a high road. He's never responded to Leon Muhammad, okay? But now, most recently, Leon Muhammad, he went in on Errol Spence again. Obviously, Errol Spence is viewed, as a major player in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? And Errol Spence is, top five pound for pound, unified, on the verge of having, one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing with was perceived to be his biggest rival and undefeated 3-division world champion, former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound for pound fighter in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford, who is 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8", with a 74-inch arm reach. Now, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they're not going to fight this year, but they make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and they represent undisputed in the welterweight division. So his name has gotten bigger, and because Leon Muhammad is an OG within the sport of boxing, everybody asks him his thoughts on Errol Spence Jr., and he says he's not a good fighter, okay? He says he's a drunk, things of that nature.
Spence is a better boxer.
So,
has to be,
there's a lot that Leon Muhammad has to say regarding Errol Spence, and Errol Spence always takes the high road, right? So somebody put on social media, and they stated that, wow, the OG Leon Muhammad always going in at Errol Spence and Gervonta Tank Davis, right? He recently went in on Gervonta Tank Davis as well, and Errol Spence finally responded. And he said, Leon Spinks is nothing but, so he says that Leon Muhammad is nothing but Bob Arum top-ranked lapdog. That's what he is, right? He's, always stated. So listen to what Coach Leon Muhammad had to say about Errol Spence. One thing he had to say, leading into the fight with Sean Porter, leading into some of the other big fights he did with an interview with my brother Champside. Shouts out to Champside.
Reflect on that fight a little bit from your boxing mind.
You can take Errol Spence and you're going to be sober enough to fight? Because you're always fucking drunk. Listen, Errol Spence can't spell this fight. Just at the right time. And first of all, talking about he won't cough. Let me tell you something. He don't want cough. Get in your fucking car, go Go to Bob and sign the contract. Al Heyman can't stop it. Under the Muhammad Ali Act, you can fight, forfeit, you just got to pay Heyman and his crew under the contract. So when I say...
So he's saying that, Errol Spence, under the Muhammad Ali Act, he can get in his car, he could go to Bob Arum, Top Rank, and he could sign the contract to fight Terrence Crawford in the biggest fight. And he stated that the thing that's, holding it up is that he believes that he owes something to Al Heyman. All he has to do is pay a percentage to Al Heyman. But he says that he ain't sober enough to make these fights with Terrence Crawford.
Al Heyman can't stop it under the right time. You take Errol Spence, you're going to be sober enough to fight? Because you're always fucking drunk. Listen, Errol Spence can't spell this fight. He gets at the right time. And first of all, talking about he won't coffee. Let me tell you something. He don't want coffee. Get in your fucking car, go to Bob and sign the contract. Al Heyman can't stop it. Under the Muhammad Ali Act, you can fight, forfeit, you just got to pay Heyman and his crew under the contract. So when I said to you, he don't want forfeit. He want what's there. And Sean Porter, let me tell you something.
So he said that Errol Spence can't spell fight, right? Because he's always drunk. That's unfortunate. Errol Spence obviously is a young fighter who made mistakes. Now, obviously, everybody knows the situation. Errol Spence, after he unified the belts against Showtime Sean Porter, and he became the WBC IBF welterweight world champion. That was September of 2019. In October, he suffered a horrific car accident. And everybody points to that horrific car accident, because it was noted that Errol Spence was under the influence, right? Or at least alleged to be under the influence. So, and he flipped his car over, had a very tragic accident, you know what I mean? And so, because of that, people, that's one thing that people always highlight. But as an OG, in my opinion, in the sport, just overall, and being from the nation and, being a quote unquote righteous man, I think that he should take a different approach. If he felt like Errol Spence is, alleged abusing, a substance, allegedly, I think that as an OG, and somebody who is well accomplished and been around the sport for years, should take the high road. You know what I mean? He should go, maybe reach out to Errol Spence. You know what I mean? Tell Errol Spence, listen, you know what? I think that, you're making a mistake, doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? But if you're not going to do that, I don't see the need to publicly always bash Errol Spence Jr. I don't understand that. But this is the road that he always takes. You understand what I'm saying? He always takes the road of going directly at Errol Spence Jr., right? And it's unfortunate. So finally, over years of him
clown that turned out 100 million.
Over the years of him going at Errol Spence finally responds. I believe in 2023, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is going to fight. Errol Spence has, admitted that he wasn't focused, leading up into his fights and in between his fights. And so, he definitely has a newfound appreciation and respect for the sport. But that's a stench on his jacket and a stain on his personal. That's always going to be there. It's always going to follow him. People always going to want to label him that. They're always going to want to point to that. They're always going to want to say, oh, Errol Spence ain't in shape. Errol Spence is drinking. That's what they're always going to remember, the negative. You know what I mean? But the same token, it's just like, and I'm not saying this is Errol Spence per se, but when people, have in the past suffered some type of addiction, right? they could be 30 years removed from it, and the first thing people are going to remember when they see them is, oh, he had an addiction. And because it's perceived that Errol Spence, it just became a narrative that Errol Spence is just loves to party and drink, even though Errol Spence has admitted that he enjoys the fruits of his labor in between fights. Errol Spence has never missed weight. He's been a constant profession over the years. He's never been out of shape in fights. He's never not give you 100% in fights. He's never missed weight, lost belts on the scale, none of those things. So it's just unfortunate that the highlight is going to be the accident. And when you have OGs like Leon Muhammad, that are adding fuel to this flame, it's truly unfortunate. So finally, Errol Spence responds to it, and he just calls him, he's just a lapdog for Bob Arum. He's an advisor. He was an advisor. He's now retired, and you see him at fights. He's very old now. But it's truly unfortunate that we have in our community OGs like that, that would take this road. And I have respect for Leon Muhammad, and I have respect for Errol Spence, and I think Errol Spence is young, enjoying the fruits of his labor, and nobody's perfect, and he made mistakes. And I think that Leon Muhammad should take a different road and approach when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis and, Errol Spence Jr. But Errol Spence fires back and lets him know he's just a lapdog for Bob Arum and ESPN and Top Rank. Errol Spence is rumored to possibly face off against former unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who's 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33, 34 years of age, 5'8", with a 69-inch arm reach in his next fight, and then go into the big fight with Terrence Bud Crawford in some point in time in 2023. So let's see how everything unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.